Today, I'm finally going to put a center console, a proper high center console in the Cruiser. So I wanted to put a center console in the car. I had a choice between a normal center console you can buy, or maybe making one like Andy did, or popping a fridge in there. Now a fridge is going to give me a choice of best of both worlds. When it's off, I can still use the space as a storage. And when it's on, I can obviously chill drinks in there. And I also thought if we were going away on longer trips, I could turn this into a freezer to give us more stuff to air fry, which is always a good thing. Now, why did I choose the XTM one? Okay, I did a bit of research. Andy put a Brass Monkey one in his car last year, and it sort of always was at the bit of an angle. We couldn't get it straight without moving the handbrake. This is just why I bought it. These other fridges that I'm going to talk about are obviously very good too, but this one in particular is why I bought it. So I looked at, this is the XTM. It is 485 long, 190 wide, and 385 tall. I also looked at the Brass Monkey one that Andy had. Now it was 538 long. So, and this one's 485. So what's that, 50 odd mil longer. So it's just creeping up on the handbrake that bit more. This one's a bit shorter. And the other one I looked at was the Bushman Roadie. Now it's a bit bigger. So the Brass Monkey one, sorry, it was 8 litres. This is 12 litres. The Bushman's, I think, was 15 litres. So it was a bigger fridge. 535 long. So the same length pretty much as the Brass Monkey. The width was 220, so it was a lot wider, and 380 height, so the same height. So they were all about similar heights. This one was just the smallest as far as length, and it's nice and it's not too wide either. But what I like about this also is both the Bushman and the Brass Monkey had a bit at the front. The Bushman has 2 cup holders and the Brass Monkey has a wireless charger. Now, they're both really good features, but I don't really want that because I got cup holders in the dash. I wanted a further armrest to come further forward so I could lean my elbow on it, because when Andy put his in with the Brass Monkey, the elbow pad was literally quite far back. So that's why I've gone with the XTM. MMB new merch, have a look at it, check it out. What do you think? Throw me a link in the comment, throw me a comment if you like these or not. We've got this one, this is called the Splash. We've got the Spray, which is, George was wearing that the other week. We might throw that up on the screen somewhere. And then we've got the OG logo too. So they're all on the website now, ready to go. modmodsandbeers.com.au. There will be a link below in the description. Would love for you to go and check them out. If you do buy a t-shirt, look, it really does help us at the channel create more content like this to keep all you nice people entertained. So next, let's get back into this. Going to jump into the car, get rid of the existing console and that little plastic holder thing at the back wall, and then we'll start fabricating up with some of this old timber that I've brought home from the shed, which I think's about 9 mil. Just a few offcuts. We're going to fabricate this into a bit of a podium for that and get it in the car. So now with this out of the way, let's get this unboxed and just do a bit of a test fit inside and see what we're looking at as far as space goes and how high we'd sort of start to think about building it. So here we are, that's what we're talking about. Open it up, got a space in there, and inside here also is the Siggy plug. Let's put this into the car and see what it looks like. Literally first test fit. That's very good. Bit of a progress up there. So what I've done, I got some of the polystyrene actually that came with the fridge, and I've just put it in. So I've kept cutting it down until I've kind of got to where I want to be. So I reckon about here lets me change gears nicely. Still get the handbrake. I've got a nice comfortable driving position now, which is what I wanted, and I've also got a fridge if I need it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's the height I'm going to have it at. So now I just need to, well, I'll show you what I've done. I've just cut that out. That came with the fridge. So that's the height I want at the front, and that's the height I want at the back, where it comes up towards the transmission, towards the gearbox. It is a bit of a hump up. So with that as my template, I'm off to the back of the car to work out how to fabricate the bracket for this and mount it onto this. Whether we just use the front tie down points here, Andy thought we could pick up the front factory mounting bolt to tie that front bit down. Then I just got to work out, I'll just strap it to the timber at the back for the back tie down point. Anyway, that's down the track. Let's get some fabrication going. So I found 4 of these little brackets in one of the cupboards in the shed. So I've just screwed these on temporarily, measured that, it's about 175. So now what I'm going to do, I've transferred that onto a piece of this timber here. So I'm just going to cut a bit of this timber out, about 175 wide, and about the length of the fridge, just a bit longer, so it'll go to the back of the cab, and just see how that works before we start building it up and stuff. Full disclaimer, I'm no chippy, as you will hopefully already know that, because my woodworking skills aren't real flash, but it'll be enough to get through. I just want to see how this is going to initially fit. There, so I'm going to have to notch a little bit out of the front for the handbrake. That on the face of it will sit okay. I've had another idea. I've just actually set the fridge in, and it kind of sits quite nicely on those brackets as is. So my new plan is I'm going to fix these brackets to this bit of wood. I'm going to screw it in to the car, set the fridge back on it, see how I feel about the height, and if it's all smick, then I think what I'm going to do is the front tie down point, I've got a factory bolt hole at the front of the piece of wood that I can tie the front down with. Then at the back I'm going to make something that'll sit under the back to keep it compressed, but then there's the 2 back mounting points on the wall that I can take a piece of the webbing from the back of the fridge and bring it down onto those 2 factory bolt holes. So that'll hold the fridge down on top of this, and it'll hold down at the front. So really this will be completely supported. I can't see why that wouldn't work. So I've just marked roughly where before I took the brackets out, where these brackets sit on the car. Do you reckon it's ever weird as somebody who does YouTube videos that you just constantly talk to yourself? Something like that. That's not a bad height at all. I don't mind that. All the gears are pretty easy to get. The handbrake's still easy to get. Good. All right, so next thing is I'm going to put a block underneath the back of it. Take it all out. I'm going to sand it, paint it, put a block underneath the back of it where it's not supported, and then I use this bolt at the front to tie this front tie down, and I'll use 2 of the factory bolts at the back in a Y shape to bolt the back of it down, and hopefully that should be enough. So I was actually expecting this to be an awful lot trickier. 1 piece of wood cannot be that easy. What I've worked out is I've cut 2 more pieces of timber, so they will go here at the back, and when the fridge is sitting, these bits here will hit the floor, and that way there's a complete podium for the fridge. Done. I'll wipe it off and we'll get outside and we'll give it a paint. And it is now time to finally put it back in the car for the last time. So we'll get this bolted in, and then we'll get the fridge in and tie it down. And we should be nearly good to go then. Beauty, not going anywhere. All right, so let's see how it looks. Right there. Cool. All right, I'm gonna go and work out the tie-down points now. I'll come back when I'm ready for them. At the risk of me not being on camera, which I'm sure you don't mind, this is the strap that came with it. I've cut it to a bit of length so I can use some of it on the front. But what I'm doing, I'm gonna just put a hole through this and heat it and screw that into the factory hole in behind the seats here, through the back of the fridge and into the other factory hole on the other side. So that should be hopefully enough to hold the back down, and then I'll just put the original strap on the front. Let's get to it. So all I'm going to do is grab my original bit of webbing with the buckles on it. There's a nice, nearly a hook there to go through. Hopefully my head doesn't get in the way too much. And then I just want to tighten this up. The answer is not that tight at all because it just broke. These do hold on a lot better. Andy calls them a quickie strap. I don't know what the right name is for them, but I'll go with Andy's terminology today. Quickie strap. Look at that. So I've lived with this for a couple of days now. It's probably been a week since I installed it, and you know what? It just makes the biggest difference driving. I've said it 100 times in this video, but the armrest height is so much better. And it just feels more like a comfy car now to drive than a farm truck. What I've done, so I've plugged it into the Siggy, so it's only on when a car's going, but it pulls it down so quickly. So I think the other day it was like 26 degrees inside or 24 degrees. It pulled it down to 3 degrees in about 15 minutes, which is super good. And whatever's in there was a few bottles of water and a couple of cans of soft drink in there. They were really cold by the time 15 minutes came around, or cold enough to drink anyway. And it keeps it pretty cool all day, so I use this for work, which I'm in and out of the car all day. Could not be happier. And you know what? I know you can buy the center consoles for $1,000, $1,200, and they're probably, aesthetically, they look better. They come with a few more cup holders. That's all well and good. I don't need them. I've got cup holders in the front here already. I am getting a little bit of decking, wet aqua decking to go on top here. So that'll make that a bit more comfy on the elbow. It's not uncomfortable now. But for 200 bucks, 180 bucks, I think it was on special. Can't go wrong. Very happy. Thank you for watching. Please do remember to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.